Have you seen this? Maybe it's something you rented from your local video store by mistake?
Welcome to Have You Seen This?
The world's only podcast about obscure, overlooked, and misbegotten media.
All discussions will be spoiler heavy.
You have been warned.
This show would not be possible without the support of our patrons. If you would like to support our show, join us at patreon.com/haveyouseenthis. Patrons get the show a week early, and $5 supporters also get access to our Discord. Or you can tip us at our Ko-fi. Visit the link in the show notes. How many people do you think felt ripped off when they watched this?
They're like, hey, this isn't an actual snuff film, what the hell?
I am not going to shit on this movie.
No, I mean, we've watched a lot of shot-on-video horror that deserves to be shit on.
Right.
This is unique.
And the flip side is that I also don't want to oversell it, because this is a shot-on-video horror film from the 80s. Many of you know exactly what that means, but Tim, why don't you tell them what we are talking about today?
We're talking about 1987's Video Violence. And yes, as Jen mentioned, it is a shot-on-video horror, but in some indescribable way, it is a cut above. Like you'd said, don't get me wrong, like, it does have all the hallmarks of shot-on-video horror. It uses real locations, non-professional actors, in-camera sound. You know what you're getting. But there's something about, I don't know, the fact that the movie takes itself seriously. I don't know, it has like kind of a level of sincerity to it. And, like the story is compelling. Like it's a good story. It's a good idea, perhaps limited by its execution. But again, it's shot on video horror. What are you expecting?
Well, Tim, why don't I take a stab at what sets it apart?
All right, here, let me get my camcorder. Let me hoist it onto my shoulder, and I'll just start like giggling like a middle school bully, and then you can take a stab at it.
This camera is the size of a microwave, by the way.
Hey, if you can think of a better way to get a crisp 320 lines of clarity, I'd like to hear it.
It's so beautiful. This was written and directed, produced, and everything by a guy called Gary P. Cohen. He does have a website, which you can look at right now. It is charmingly Web 1.0. I would not expect anything less.
It's handcrafted, yes.
Yes, I will link that. And think of him as kind of in the vein of like a Tim Ritter or someone like that. Someone who really kind of...
Ray Dennis Steckler.
Oh, okay. Come on, Tim.
Unfair.
I was trying to be nice. No, I'm talking specifically about like the shot on video pioneers and people who made something that, like you alluded to, like actually kind of stands out a little bit from the crowd. Because yes, we have watched some real shit in that genre. I'll link our Wood Chipper Massacre episode, and we also did a whole episode talking about like a handful of shot on video horror films from the 80s, very representative of that genre. But I think one thing that really stands out about this movie is that it actually has a story.
Yeah.
That's not very common in this genre, and it's true. It is stretched to the breaking point to fill enough cassette space to get it on video store shelves. But hey, a story's a story. A lot of filmmakers forget that.
Right. Yeah, it is. It doesn't have the best pacing, but yeah, it does have a story.
No.
Like there are... Yeah.
I'm not even hating. I am not even hating, but go ahead.
No, like there are sensible, relatable, like realistic characters. And that is even something that, whether deliberate or not, it feels like a lot of the shot on video horror movies have like, just for lack of a better word, like caricatures. I think it's probably due to the like shortcoming of the, non-performer featured players in this, where like everything comes off as really like broad or shallow or just weird. And like in that way, like it kind of works for video violence, because all the other people that you see in this are just like freaks. Like they're just weirdos and goofballs. Like they're the two main murderers in this, because this is a movie about a guy who used to run a movie theater in New York City, in the big city where people respect each other, where there's community. And then
the Ms. 45 killings started happening, and he decided to leave.
No, I mean, he had the misfortune of moving to a small town where everyone is so insular and weird. He moved there to open a video store, or to take over a video store. I don't think it's really made clear. But he and his wife are there, and they chance upon someone returns one of the tapes, but they don't return their tape. They return a different tape that has a snuff film on it. And the two like main protagonists of these snuff films are these guys, Howard and Eli, and they're just these cornpone goober, hokey. I don't know. They're yokels, I guess is probably the best way to put it.
They love to laugh.
But they do love to laugh. But everyone else in the town is just some sort of grimacing goofball. But these two main characters, the Emerys that run the video store, like they're mostly normal. And I think that is a good way to sort of separate them out from all the goofy tropes of all the caricatures in the rest of the movie. It shows they're the normal ones versus all these weirdos that they're having to contend with.
Yeah, it kind of makes me think a little bit of Troll 2.
Yeah, Troll 2. I mean, I would of course go immediately to Royston Vasey. I mean, I wouldn't go there for real, but in League of Gentlemen, you have, I think in the first season, there's I think it's Ben who goes there, and he's the normal one who gets trapped there, but then of course he's just meets all these weirdos. See, the normalcy is the costume. That's the thing.
Isn't that just like people?
Yes, yeah. Not being a gruesome freak is drag.
But I think that people who have grew up in and left a small town will find this relatable.
Yeah, everyone knows each other. Everyone, as is in everyone else's business.
Everyone's fucking judgmental. Forget going to the cops because they're not going to do shit.
Right. Yeah. The difference, of course, being that everyone's business here is murdering drifters.
They must be close to a major highway.
Could be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's somewhere in New Jersey.
Gross.
They have that reputation.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's how you know. But yeah, it's a shot on video horror that does actually have a story, and it has relatable, normal characters as the protagonist, which is unusual. I mean, those two things right there is almost unheard of.
Right, not complete freaks like in Wood Chipper Massacre.
Right, yeah. I mean, you saw that little goblin ginger kid in that.
That kid is exactly why people bully gingers.
And not only that, because I for whatever reason, maybe I hate myself. I mean, we've made 260 episodes of the show, so I think it's clear I do. But yeah, I rewatched Wood Chipper Massacre for whatever reason, and it's funny.
What the fuck, Tim?
It's funny because I didn't realize, because I recognized the actor who's also the writer-director of that piece of shit. That is John McBride, who you may recognize as the friend from the Feeders movies.
Oh,
see, yeah.
All these people knew each other, didn't they? Because they were the only ones working in this particular milieu.
Yeah,
anyone who was crazy to make a whole feature with a fucking camcorder.
Yeah, they're the only people who would work with these people. That's the other thing. See, because at the time too, when I'm watching Feeders and Feeders 2, and I'm just going, what is this shit? I'm thinking that John McBride is the stoner friend of the Polonia brothers. He's yeah, sure, I'll be in your stupid monster movie. But then I watch Wood Chipper Massacre, and I'm wait, John, you're part of the problem. He's in Cannibal Campout as well, which is another piece of shit shot on video horror movie.
It turns out he's really passionate about this low fidelity medium.
Yeah, he just loves churning out garbage. It wasn't that he did a favor for his friend over a weekend and then got roped into doing it a second time, which, Jen, how sometimes you have a friend who has this passion project that you're oh man, buddy, this is a terrible idea. You should not do a podcast. But you kind of want to be a friend, and you're okay, I'll help you. We'll do a couple episodes. Maybe we'll do 100 or something. And then a decade goes by and you're still doing it.
Yeah, and then before you know it, your entire life has gone by, and you start asking yourself, what happened to that bright young podcast host from so long ago?
Yeah.
She basically turned into Grisabella the Glamour Cat.
Yeah. So that's what John McBride is doing. He's just continuing to turn out shitty movies. He's become part of the problem. He's no longer a blameless observer or participant who's got roped into it.
But just think about what's so great about these movies. Like, not only the lo-fi picture, but also like the constant hum of the soundtrack.
It lulls you to sleep. It's like white noise.
The burn your eyeballs titles, always in the same like digital font.
Look, it's the font that came with the like VCR or the camcorder.
Right.
Like I have a camcorder we can put titles on it just like that, and I'm like, oh man, I love that style. I love that look.
Yeah, it's there. Like, absolutely use it. And of course,
Yeah.
let us not
Because it doesn't
forget
cost anything.
like incredibly piercing music played on a very cheap synthesizer.
It's almost like this movie was made for
$1.
under $25. Or yeah, as the director claims, $6.
Yeah, I think he was probably
I don't
kidding,
I guess
but
yeah. Well, I mean, what is that? The cost of a VHS tape?
right. I mean that
Yeah, at the time.
but even back then that wouldn't cover your gas money. You know,
Right.
driving to the video store.
Yeah, you know they didn't pay the actors. You know there wasn't any
Oh
crew.
god, no.
Right.
You don't need any of those things. You don't need to pay actors, you don't need to hire a crew. You just do everything yourself and you get masterworks like Video Violence. I'm being really mean to this movie, but like I really respect stuff like this in a weird way because it was so much harder to I mean, it's hard to make a feature any decade, but back then putting something like this together and like getting it on video store shelves, it's like, you know what? I got to respect that because what the fuck have I done with my life? Made a podcast?
Yeah, and not a very popular one either, I might add.
Exactly.
Yeah, you really have to respect the hustle. And I just as an aside, I would like to describe the lineage of shot on video horror because I mean,
Well, you are an expert.
you think of like you think of the original shot on video. That's a Man with a Movie Camera from 1929. Like he didn't pay any of the actors. He had no crew.
And he made it for 6
just
rubles.
Yes. See, that's why it's important to have a social safety net, so you can do stuff like
Yeah.
this. The overall gist of the shot on video subgenre is, yeah, there are people with limited means producing films of limited means. Because even something that's like, because I'm trying to think of other like video nasties or something that is like a low budget, no budget movie that still went on to success. Like, I mean, I wouldn't even put these in like the same category as like, you know, Evil Dead or like Blair Witch or something like that.
Right.
Like I think that like if you actually are paying to have film developed, it's like, oh no, you're in a completely different league. It is more like if you put a tape in a camera and pressed a button, yeah, okay. Like we know that you do not have the resources to develop film.
That's actually a really good point because this isn't the kind of stuff that you would see in theaters either.
No, it's something that, well, because part of what, going back to like the inspiration of this movie, it was the, believe it or not, the director worked in a video store. and he was inspired because it's like, we have all these great movies here and people just come in and rent horror or rent porn. I mean, can you imagine if your diet was just shitty slasher movies? I digress.
Why can't you watch a respectable genre like pornography?
Right, yeah. Look, I just watch it for the stories. But yeah, so he's like, yeah, there's this whole wealth of, cinema around you, but people are just like, yeah, just give me a horror movie, just give me a slasher movie. I just want to, curl up on a Friday evening and watch some cozy horror of people getting slashed, people getting murdered. Like, all right, fine. It's like, it's easy. I don't know. So you could see him kind of bemoaning like this, coarsening of cinema, and also occasionally, and it seems like this is kind of the seed of the idea, is sometimes someone will return the wrong tape. Like maybe it's tape from like their own collection or a home movie or something. It does provide kind of a window into that other person's life where it's like, well, what if one day you get a tape that looks way worse than anything else that you've got?
Yeah. You think it's just going to be like a Mets game and like some Warner Brothers cartoons, but instead
it's an Orioles game.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm enjoying real culture here.
It is funny if you think about it, the conflation of horror films and pornography. Like they both serve like a similar need in the viewer.
They can both be made, and they can both be made on the cheap, and the audience does not give a shit.
Yeah, and they both have a reputation as like, I don't want to say like easy money, but you know, the first like exploitation of any kind, basically.
Right. Yeah. Well, there's that entrepreneurial, like, low barrier to entry. Speaking of pornography, that is, you know, endemic of both of those, because like there's the the director here who seized on the notion of, I work in a video store and I see what's happening with this new medium. According to him, he was inspired by an interaction they'd had at the video store, which is actually in the movie, where a mom comes in and is like, hey, is this movie appropriate for children? And the movie is Blood Cult. And he's like, well, it's got a lot of violence. And she's like, well, it doesn't have any sex in it, right? And he's like, well, not really. And she's like, oh, okay, that's fine then.
America.
America, yeah. Don't show a boob unless it's having an ice pick put through it. Which also happens in this movie.
Yeah, you do get boobs in this movie.
And they're nice too. So good for that working actress.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations on your great tits.
Yes. But so this is an interaction that he had in real life, where he rented Blood Cult to some mom. And Blood Cult is itself significant because it's kind of regarded as the first shot on video horror movie. And it certainly looks it. It kind of set the mold, where you're just like, oh, this is fucking garbage. But it's like, but it's like, you know, it's that, what, Pirates of the Caribbean, like, you're the worst pirate I've ever heard of. But you have heard of me. Like, that's a reputation of Blood Cult. Because even the people, like, even like the horror fans who review it are like, this movie sucks. But again, that was from a guy who had a business distributing like educational and like training films. Like, he would, you know, lease and rent those out to, you know, schools or, you know, places where people didn't want to shake hands with danger, or they needed to learn not to. And so he did that, but then like Betamax came out and he's like, oh, I can rent videos too. And he, you know, of course, was kind of searching like the dark corners for stuff that doesn't normally get distribution. Things like Night of the Living Dead, or like Dark Star, which is, you know, a personal low budget favorite. Gorgo, you know, stuff that you'd see on Mystery Science Theater. And so he started doing that. Like, he adapted, you know, as the media changed, as the media landscape changed, he adapted. And then the licensing fees got to be too high. And he's like, why don't we just cut out the middleman and make our own crappy movies? And that's how he got Blood Cult, and some other ones that are even less well reviewed than Blood Cult. But the point is, the guy did it. Yeah. And it's the same thing with Gary P. Cohen of Video Violence, where he's like, hey, I work in a video store and I've got $6. I have some real locations, a camcorder, and people who are willing to act in my movie. I did not ask them whether they had any acting experience.
Yeah, it's not necessary.
Yeah, you put it together. He co-wrote it with his buddy, and yeah, then they've got a movie. There was a niche to be filled, and they filled it. It may have been one of the bottom rungs, to mix metaphors, but you went ahead and did it. And I think that's, you know, commendable in this situation, mostly because the movie is not complete garbage.
Yes.
It's only mostly garbage.
So, yeah, extra points for that.
Because the story itself is fairly straightforward. Like, he finds this snuff film videotape that is so, you know, it begs rewatching. You know, it's kind of like, say you're Naomi Watts and you're in a cabin in the Pacific Northwest and you find a videotape.
And they're killing the local postmaster in it too, which is really funny.
Right, yeah. But it's what's compelling about it is that it is a situation that is so unusual and jarring and horrifying that you're like, well, this has to be, you know, this incredibly unlikely thing that's happening, which is people are making snuff films. And he doubts himself for the entire journey because the whole town is in on it. Because of course they are. We see this in other movies. Hot Fuzz comes to mind, for one. So yeah, he's like, I know what I've seen, and I don't have any evidence of it. And at every point I turn, someone has a rational explanation for why this isn't the case. But we know he's right, and he knows he's right. So where's this going to go? And I think that's what's compelling about the movie, even if it could be about 20 or 30 minutes shorter.
But you can't retail a cassette that short. So
89 minutes.
Yeah. Hence, you have lots of scenes of people making phone calls.
Yeah, I think really it is the pacing, because it is non-actors.
Right.
It is. I mean, there are blessedly few shots of people getting in and out of cars, and sometimes it is actually like relevant to the story around just like, well, he's going from one place to another. We have to show him getting in the car. Right. It only makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm not even dinging the movie for it. It's it's a fucking shot on video horror movie. I knew what I was going to get. I was not expecting intense, tight plotting and highly skilled acting.
And there is a way with professional actors and cinematographers and editors and directors to make a scene move at a brisk pace, to make things feel more impactful and more intense. Because there's a scene later in the movie when it's Emery and his wife, and they're going through, like, they watch like an actual production of like a snuff film. It isn't just Howard and Eli like torturing random drifters. It is like it's like, I don't know if you've heard about the movie Friday the 13th. Did you know that they really killed actors when they made that movie?
Yeah, that was how Kevin Bacon died.
Right, yeah. That's I was talking to a kid in kindergarten, and he said it was true, and I believed him.
And then we kept putting sand from the sandbox in our pants.
Right, yeah. I got an A. Right. So it is an actual like production that is about
it's a gothic romance.
Yeah, it is a gothic romance filmed in someone's bedroom using available light, with just some goofball in
fake teeth.
Dracula makeup. Yeah, with fake
the teeth are
like
very
the whole
funny.
Right, yeah. It's like it's a costume that I got at a costume shop. And yeah, the woman gets killed in it. I don't know if she read all of her contract. It's like, by the way, like underline at the bottom, you will be paid at the end of the day, and also you will be killed for real. And she's like, oh, okay, hey, $300. That sounds good.
Yeah, people never read contracts, and that's how these things happen.
Yeah, you know.
And it's interesting
right.
where this is placed in the narrative, and it is kind of clever, because the thing which set off alarms for our main character is that he has come into possession of these snuff films. And there's like a little bit of ambiguity, as of course there is with everything that you see on video, more so now in this hellish dystopia of AI. But like at the time, if you were to look at a video of somebody getting killed, you'd probably be like, well, like it's like a horror movie that somebody made. They did a good job in the effects, which is why it's like, it's...
Right, yeah, it's like, I know who Kevin Bacon is, and I know that he did not get stabbed through the neck with an arrow.
Right, and the cool part is that in the movie, at a point in the narrative where, the evidence has kind of been building up that the townspeople actually are murdering people on camera, then you get a little bit of a curveball, because like the third or fourth tape that Emery and his wife see is like an actual like film production. Like it has titles on it. The Vampire Takes a Bride. And it has like setups and like different angles and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, well, this is obviously somebody made like a little horror movie. But then the main actress gets stabbed.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute.
It has like all the depth of a porno, but it's more depth than we've seen before.
Right. And like it's the little bit of ambiguity that's like kind of sort of clever. Like instead of just getting like another snuff film thrown at you, it's like and he and his wife like debate it. They're like, she's like, I don't know, this looks like a professional production. And he's like, well, it doesn't really look like other horror movies that I've seen. Like he even calls up, like, or he tries to call a friend who's like a big horror freak to be like, "Have you ever heard of this movie?"
And there are two interesting things that happen there. One, I think, is the really canny observation that unfortunately the movie does not have the deftness to really convey, to really get across to the viewer, which is if you were used to watching horror movies up until like 1980 86 or so, where like say you'd seen, I don't know, Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th or Texas Chainsaw Massacre or whatever, and it's like, well, I saw this in the theater, like I paid money, it had a distributor, this is clearly a movie, like this is shot on film, it looks like a movie, it looks like every other movie.
Yes.
This is a movie, this is fake. Like I can empathize and relate to the characters, but I know that this is all playing pretend. But if someone handed you a VHS of someone getting killed, you'd be like, well, hang on a minute. And now people are making movies on VHS. So it's kind of like it's like two halves of the same coin. Like there's reality and fantasy are kind of blurring the line between each of them.
Yes.
So we have a movie that looks like anything that you'd see normal people doing, and that's what video violence is. And in that way, it works, to its credit, that it is a movie that is shot on video that shows you horrific things about seeing horrific things that are shot on video. Like it's sort of an Ouroboros in its own way.
Yeah, and that's what is kind of neat about it. But
yeah, conceptually, it's very strong.
Yeah, and I like that because another thing about shot on video horror is like how consistently unlovely it all is. I don't think there is like
right.
I don't think that there is a great cinematographer of that.
Yeah, it looks
era because
it looks gross because it looks real because it looks gross.
Yeah, like all these movies all look like shit. Like uniformly,
right? Yeah, just ask Lars von Trier.
Well,
shooting on video,
digital video is like that was like the next level up, and I do remember around the time that movies like that were coming out, like one we talked about on the show, Spike Lee's Bamboozled. I remember the time thinking like, God, like video is just like really not there yet, is it? But these
right.
filmmakers like kind of kept at it, and now digital video is like a legitimate medium for shooting beautiful images. This kind of consumer and prosumer video of the time was never going to look good. It couldn't. And so all the movies like made on that medium have this same kind of queasy feeling to them. Even the kind of
they have a particular kind of look. In some cases, it's relevant. It fits.
Yeah, and like sometimes that can be used to a really great effect. Like another one we talked about on the show, the Broken movie, the Nine Inch Nails music video, which I think that one like fooled some people.
I could see that happening. I mean, it is weird that you're watching a serial killer's home movies, but it's interspersed with a new album out.
Well, obviously, Trent Reznor is a serial killer.
Right, yeah. Are you saying that serial killers don't listen to this kind of music? Or maybe that this music doesn't make people into serial killers? Because I think it does. What do you think about that?
That's right. Everyone who listened to Nine Inch Nails in the 90s became a serial killer.
Right,
Tim.
Yeah, you had Judas Priest, you had Dungeons and Dragons, like everyone. See, that's the power of film, the power of media. It can turn people into murderers.
Right.
I stopped listening to Nine Inch Nails around the time that the Grim Sleeper went inert. But that's neither here. I don't even know why I offered that. Why don't you just cut that out?
Also, Tim will never provide his DNA for any reason.
Come back with a warrant. That's what I always say.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
And that the other kind of cool thing about this movie that came to mind while I was watching it, and it was something that you were talking about earlier, the fact that the entire town is in on this.
Yeah.
Like, they basically created like their own like snuff ring. And
Yeah.
it's like it's taking the truism about small towns and then like bringing it to another level, which that happens sometimes in horror movies where like a whole, or like it'll be something like The Wicker Man where it's like, oh, everybody on this island is like in on this shit and it's like normal for them.
Yeah, right. And this movie does make use of a lot of horror tropes that we've seen done in better movies, but in that way, like, I can't really fault it for being like, hey, you made a movie that's a lot like this other movie that I find well regarded. It's like, okay.
It is kind of how
am I
horror
not supposed to
works
do that?
a lot
Right,
of the time.
yeah. Because we've seen, like, even stuff that, like, have come after, like, we see similarities to, like, Hot Fuzz or Wicker Man or some other ones that I would like to mention at some point. But yeah, you're talking about Wicker Man.
Yeah, well, just that, just the setup of the outsider coming into the small town and finding out that like the whole superstructure is rotten, basically.
Right.
At the beginning of the movie when Emery takes the tape or tries to alert the police chief, which we all know how that's going to go. Like,
right, yeah,
come on, dude, why are you even bothering?
Yeah, he's a small town, like, lazy good old boy who will come up with any excuse not to do his job.
Yeah, and he's doing...
Which, I mean, that sounds just like your regular small town sheriff. It doesn't sound like someone who is in on part of a massive conspiracy. It just sounds like a lazy cop.
A cop, in other words.
Right, yeah, again, like, nothing unusual here.
Right. And this actor is doing his very best, like, community theater version of the small town police chief, to the point where it's like actually kind of grating. Like I was like, God, just let the scene be over. Like, because like it's just so like
pacing.
Yeah. But whatever.
Well.
Yeah. I knew
we got here.
Yeah. I knew what I was going to get when I started the movie. And honestly, if the cop had been sympathetic, I would have been like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, then you'd really be confused.
Yeah. So Emery cannot convince the cops to give a shit because, like, even if they weren't...
Well, he's new here, too.
Yeah, even if they weren't in on it, like, they're not going to give a shit. So
right.
He even has trouble, like, convincing his wife, which is pretty real. Like... Like, it is a crazy story to tell to someone. Like, yeah, like, I found this real snuff film.
Yeah, hey, honey, I was at work. You know that guy, Rick, who no one trusts, who is going through a lot of shit and whose dad died and is kind of unreliable? Well, he showed me a video and he told me that the guy getting killed on it was the postman, who I don't recognize, but I believe him completely. And it's like, Steve, come on.
Yeah, and I was actually a little sad that character got killed off so early, because I was like, man, I can really relate to this kid.
Yeah, it is a shame that Rick, who is his like assistant, doesn't really get very much development in this, because even just talking to Emery's wife, or just when Emery's talking to his wife about, I found the tape and I went over to get the sheriff to have him come back and look at the tape, and she's like, you left Rick there with the money? But, like, we only meet Rick for, like, one scene, and even then, like, his hair is brushed and he's wearing a tie, and it's like, Rick does not seem like the degenerate everyone understands him to be.
No, and you really get the impression that this is someone who's really, like, pretty unfairly maligned by the townies.
Yeah, it could be. So, but yeah, in the time where, like, the sheriff, wastes Emery's time, Rick suddenly disappears, and that's the point where the wife has her prejudices against Rick, where it's like, okay, so he just like spun this story for whatever reason and then took off because we all know Rick to be unreliable, and she's like, but you're taking this at face value.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah, but she soon learns that the townspeople are not on their side.
Yeah, because the movie is a masterclass in gaslighting, pretty much.
Yeah, and in fact, the death of Rick is, I think, the next tape that they see.
Right, yeah, because it is separated into, like, there's a prologue, which is interesting too, because it has, I mean, it absolutely sets you up for what you're going to see. It is two non-actors in a real location, shot on video with, unintelligible dialogue, just because, like, the bass is so, yeah, yeah, the fidelity is terrible. But you can kind of see what's going on, and then they kill a woman in one of the dressing rooms.
Yeah, just a really vicious and pointless murder. Just the kind of thing that you want from a shot on video horror movie.
Yeah, a shot on video drama. And it's interesting too, because that is like prologue, and then it switches to, titles, and it's like day one. And then there's a car driving into town, and you're like, oh, okay, this is, again, to invoke Edgar Wright, like, oh, this is just the boring, like, we're traveling from one place to another. We've got to put all the names of the people in the movie over this. We aren't doing anything, like, really artistic. I mean, every frame of painting addresses how you can, like, tell things in, like, a travel montage rather than have it just be boring. So it seems like this is what's happening in there until the car pulls up at the video place, and it isn't, like, the new guy and his wife showing up to, like, open the video store. It's one of the guys from the previous segment returning a tape. And you're like, oh, these are the murderers, just, like, dropping this stuff off.
Yeah.
So this is, the hub of the snuff film distribution center.
Yeah, because, man, like, everyone in this town is just, like, fucking obsessed with making and viewing snuff. It's nice that they have, a shared hobby.
Yeah, I mean, like, Camp Creek Films or whatever, like, they would have just a blockbuster catalog if they had tapped into this.
They should put it on the dark web.
Right, yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
The famously monetized dark web.
The prologue is actually shot with, like, a little bit of flair, which is nice. Yeah. Like, it looks like crap, but in kind of a cool way. I can't think of another way to describe it.
Maybe you show that to investors, and, like, after that, he passed around the hat, and everyone, put in whatever changes in their pockets, and he's like, "Yes, I got enough money to make a movie now."
Yeah, like, I can actually tell a little story in, like, a few minutes. Yeah, like, I can have the narrative, I can put it together, and, like, deliver it to investors, and then it's like, yeah, sure, why not? Here's $1. And then 6 people...
It was the Minds of Moria sequence of shot on video horror.
And 6 people put their pocket change together. And they made video violence.
Or maybe just, like, went around to different stores to, like, pitch it and no one bought it, but, like, he took all the change and then you, like, take a penny, leave a penny tray.
Oh, smart.
And that was enough. See?
Always on that grind.
He's playing a whole other game. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, so that's how the tape shows up. Or how a tape shows up. But yeah, it's just part of this network of snuff films that this guy finds himself caught in. Meanwhile, everyone else is like, "This is ridiculous. You're crazy. There isn't any evidence." I mean, it takes them longer to say that,
right?
Because it's non-professional actors. But
let's just use everything like we shot.
Right? Yeah. But yeah, he continues to be gaslighted. Throughout the entirety of the movie, like, the sheriff is like, when he finally gets the sheriff, it's the wrong tape and Rick is missing. It's like, well, I'm gonna let this slide this time.
I'm from upstate New York.
Yeah, I'm from the southern part of New York City.
New York City.
Yeah,
get a video camera.
But even still, yeah, we're gonna kill this guy on camera for getting pasta from New York City. Pasta. Salsa. Yeah, but anyway, the police chief, like, he has a postcard. He's like, here's the postcard from the postmaster. He's not dead. Like, call him up. And the wife, like, calls him up, and she gets routed to a switchboard where there's an old guy who's just been sitting by the phone all day to be like, yes, I'm the postmaster and I'm not dead. But yeah, the whole town is in on it. Yeah. That's how I answer the phone. This is Tim, and I'm not dead. And then they just hang up because they got their question answered.
Just
we
checking.
Need to try again tomorrow. So yeah, it is a close-knit community. They're all in on this. Like, it just at, like, preternatural levels. Like, the way that, like, only, like, antagonistic NPCs can coordinate shit, like, behind the scenes.
Another thing that I kind of find interesting is that
Mhm.
this was at a time when the line about on snuff films would have been they don't exist. And I think
Wink.
well, like, you know how like if you like it was snuff films were considered urban legend,
Yeah.
and I think to a degree like it was true. Like I don't know why you would like why would anybody like spend money on film to film an actual murder or torture and then like develop it and chance getting caught. Now, of course, like in a digital age, like all bets are off. And I think that with an incident on the former Twitter, we all discovered that a certain insanely notorious torture and snuff film was actually real. I don't know if you remember that.
You know, I watch so many of them that I get them all confused.
Well, I don't remember the name. I don't remember the guy's username, but he was one of the few people like actually like making money from like posting on Twitter. And he actually posted like a frame from something called Daisy's Destruction, which
Oh, that guy,
and I implore everyone to like not look that up. Just
to just wipe that from your memory.
Like just take it from me that it's like a really horrible video that resulted in a monstrous person going to jail like for the rest of his life
and worse, someone got temporarily banned from Twitter.
Yeah, like they temporarily banned the guy. A guy who posted like snuff.
I think you put emphasis on the wrong word. They temporarily banned the guy.
Yeah, the guy who posted like basically like
a frame of a snuff film,
child sexual abuse material, and it's like, well, we'll give you a mulligan on that one.
Be like, look, your heart was in the right place. I mean, we understand each other. Us being the people who run Twitter
every day.
Like, yes, we do.
Every day yields new horrors, which is probably why like a movie like this one seems so adorably quaint to me, because it's.
I mean, it was timely as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's like a freaky premise, but you know, like kind of an extraordinary one, because like I don't think like a video ring like this would have been like possible at the time. Like nowadays it's like fucking forget it, like people can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, but if you see people renting a certain kind of video and you know that people can now make any kind of video, what kind of movies do you think those people would make?
Right.
And would they like to go through, like you say, the trouble of hiring a crew and developing film and all the other stuff, or would they just like to kill a person and record a video of it? I mean, that is a lot of effort to hire like a competent effects crew,
right?
And someone who's willing and interested, like a legitimate actor who would want to go through this. I don't know, but you could also kill a hobo, and that is a lot cheaper.
Plus, nobody cares if you murder someone from society's dregs.
Exactly. See, what is the downside? It's a victimless crime. I'm like, even for me, I'm like, come on, Tim.
Well, there was a thing, and I don't remember like which police department or whatever this came from, or how endemic it was. But there used to be a saying, "No humans involved," for murders of homeless people or sex workers or whatnot.
Right, yeah. So it's easy to turn a blind eye to this sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like if you look at the first season of Law and Order SVU, and the cops like act more like how cops actually act in real life. And there's like a trans person who's murdered, and I won't repeat the slurs that are just casually thrown around by our heroes, but I was like, oh, damn, you used to be able to just say that on network TV. And, then the show like changed quite a bit into the SVU we know today, where like, the cops are heroes, like bravely fighting for the rights of people who've been sexually victimized, which, as we all know, is propaganda. A fantasy.
Yeah. So, there is one cop in this movie, and he's in on it.
Of course he is.
As is everyone else. Yeah. So I don't know if you can imagine, because, like you say, this is quaint. At the time, it is a guy dealing with an imperfect amount of information. So, like, if you figure that you're in this cloistered community where like a cabal of malevolent psychopaths are intent on continuing to, execute their evil deeds undisturbed, and they also can control the lines of communication. Can you even imagine such a thing?
Yeah.
Speaking of posting on Twitter.
It's a great premise for a horror movie.
Yeah, so they aren't able to reach like any of the outside world. They get rerouted to a switchboard to be like, yeah, I'm the postmaster and I'm currently alive in Florida. Like, okay. Yeah, Emery tries to contact his friend who runs the theater, and they just get like a recorded message that's like, yeah, we're currently showing Night of the Living Dead and Dracula Takes a Bride, which is a legitimate movie where no one was actually murdered. So they're like, well, I can believe the things that I'm seeing myself, but also the media, wink, wink, is telling me a completely different story. So it's like, well, who do you believe? Like, am I going crazy or is everyone in on it? Because, like any conspiracy theory, like absence of evidence is evidence of a cover-up. So anytime where Emery is like, I saw this thing, but now it's not there, and everyone else is like, yeah, sure it isn't. But he's saying, well, they must have hidden it. They must have taken it away. They must have covered it up somehow.
Yeah.
So he just seems more and more crazy as this is going on. And yeah, day 2, like you say, that is when they find Rick's body. And it is also when Emery watches the tape of Rick being like assaulted by Howard and Eli, these two yokels who come by and laugh at you and then torture you to death.
Oh, the torture I can handle, but the constant laughter.
I know. He also just get this over with,
it's like,
please.
You know what? Like, go ahead, like, cut my tits off. Just like, do it quietly, for God's sake.
Yeah, can you please stop with the giggling? It's very disruptive. Yeah, and the tits thing too. I can tell like they cribbed that from A Clockwork Orange.
Oh, right. Yeah. Cutting little circles in her tank top. Wow, this is very Kubrickian.
Right, yeah. See, they've seen good movies and they know how to draw from that. Incidentally, around the same time, I had watched Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer.
A classic.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, it is not called Henry Portrait of a Reformed Ex-Con. That is deliberate. But yeah, partway through that, it is Henry and his buddy like recording their home invasions and them killing people and then watching it and rewatching it later. It's pretty close in time. Mm-hmm. I can't say for certain that it was a plot point that was inspired by Henry to put in this movie. But they're two things that are pretty similar. I think it was probably more just the zeitgeist of being able to have a camcorder.
Yeah, and like the first impulse of people with a camera, of course, is to make pornography. Secondarily, it is to kill someone on camera. So,
right, yeah, and if you can combine the two, man, that is a productive day.
Gangbusters. I think that, and I think this would have been on people's minds, like the possibility of something awful.
Yeah, if anyone can make a movie, think of the worst person you know, and suddenly that person can make a movie.
Yeah, which,
it's a little unsettling. Yeah.
Yeah, which then in like about a decade or so, that brings you to video that not only contains something dreadful, it'll actually kill you if you watch it.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, I haven't watched that movie yet, but I feel like eventually, we do this podcast long enough.
Just a sound of like like this the buzz and static from like a cord being like ripped out.
Right. Yeah, hang on. There's a woman on my TV trying to get my attention. No, back in the TV. No.
And comb your hair.
You get back. Yeah, you get back to hosting Friday Night Terrors.
Tim is talking to the little people on his TV again.
I'm not crazy. I saw someone die in a VHS tape. It's real.
Oh, and by the way, I'm not dead yet. Hangs up.
Right? Yeah. By the way, this is Tim. Thanks for calling my current phone number, which is the one you dialed. I am not dead. Goodbye. Yeah.
So there's a happy ending, right?
Of course there is. I told you I've been watching a lot of movies about this where, like, check out our episode on Angel Heart, for instance, where the closer you follow something, the worse off you are. I believe in about, I don't know, maybe 20 episodes or 7 or 8 years ago, we recorded an episode where I invoked the gaming concept of the Nega Dungeon, which is the dungeon where it's like, look, you just leave any time. Like, you can stop doing the podcast like whenever you want. You don't have to keep doing it. It is something where it's like, the more you do this thing, the worse off you are. Like, the further you delve into this Nega Dungeon, it's like the monsters only get worse and there isn't any treasure. Why do you persist in doing this, Tim?
I don't know what else to do with myself.
Right, yeah. So it's the same thing that happens in this movie as happens in, you know, other good movies of this sort, like you know, Angel Heart, like we evoked. A not good movie simply called Cthulhu that we watched.
I didn't watch that shit. That was all you.
Yeah, right. No, yeah, I watched that, but we had both watched Empty Man, and that one has kind of a similar arc about a guy where it's like, hey, I'm trying to find who this Empty Man is, and it's like, wait 2 more acts, and you'll find out who he is.
Yeah, and I considered doing an episode on Empty Man, and Tim gently dissuaded me. Some of you may be disappointed. I maintain that Tim is correct.
It's a fine movie.
Yeah. You know what? If it's the kind of thing that you'll like, you'll love it. It's fine.
Right. Yeah, it's a fine movie, but the unfortunate thing is, what more can you say?
Right.
Yeah.
Also,
now Cthulhu is not a good movie.
Also a movie that I feel isn't as smart as it thinks it is. And the point...
Empty Man?
Yeah, the point where I groaned was when you see an exterior shot of Jacques Derrida High School. And I was like, oh, come on!
I don't know. Is he like a visual effects guy or something?
Sure. Don't worry about it, Tim.
Okay. I watched it and I'm like, yeah, I get it. I could totally see this happening. This sounds like a lot of other movies that I like. I mean, you know, like you to invoke ghost stories again. It's like by the time you get to the end of that, you're like, oh, now I understand. Like, and now I don't like that I understand.
Right.
So it's a perfectly serviceable trope to hang your movie around. And that's the same story of video violence, where it's like, you could have just left it alone, because one of the other things that you might find goofy, depending on how on the movie's wavelength you are with video violence, is the story proper starts with someone dropping off a tape of a woman getting bludgeoned to death in a sporting goods store. Someone else returns a tape of the postmaster getting killed by these gibbering idiots, these 2 yokels, Howard and Eli. Even when later in the movie, after like things are really cooking at this point, Emery's wife goes into the deli after we just seen 2 people get like killed and chopped up in the deli. Two people, like a couple passing through, and their friend gets stabbed in the neck, just gets ambushed by Howard and Eli, one with a video camera, one with an ice pick. After the scene of people getting chopped up in the deli, Emery's wife goes in, and while she's like picking out a bottle of milk, someone slips another VHS tape in her purse, and that is a vampire, takes a bride. But it's interesting because at every point it seems like the town is trying to like feel them out, be like, hey, do you like scary movies?
Right.
Do you like movies about people just getting tortured to death? At every point it's like, hey, are you cool?
Yeah, they were a little upset about the hitchhiker getting killed. Let's give them something a little more arty. Hence, the vampire takes.
Yeah, maybe we just haven't found their level. We haven't found what it is that they, the kind of movies that they like. But repeatedly, Emery is like, no, I got to go to the cops with this. People are being murdered here. I guess he didn't read the room. You know, he didn't read the vibe of Dogpatch, New Jersey, wherever this takes place.
Remember Lil Abner, kids? Of course you don't.
Right. Why would
Right.
you? So at this point, the town has been trying to get them into it, but at every point they're resisting, and the town's like, well, we're just gonna kind of keep doing what we do. He meets a brick wall at every turn.
Mhm.
Like, he's not able to get anyone else to like come on board with it. But his wife does at least support him and be like, well, I'll try on my end to verify your story, because if you aren't crazy, like, we should know and we should be prepared. And they're just like boxed in on all sides by all these creepy, murderous psychopaths. Until finally, something changes. They meet a blessedly normal person.
Yes.
Like this woman with like her headphones and like her pink sweater. She's not like any of the other like gross caricatures that we've seen so far. Like, she modulates the tone of her voice, which is something I forget to do sometimes. She makes eye contact when she speaks to them, she talks about, I just want to rent like some classic comedies. Like, I was in here last year, and you ever notice how like weird people are here, but I just like watching fun movies, and I'm on my, aunt and uncle's account, and they're like, oh, thank God you're normal.
Right. But ultimately, you learn that you cannot trust allistic people.
Don't trust normies. So they, and it is kind of a brilliant setup by the town.
Yeah, and they fall right into the trap.
Right, as any moral, decent person would, because then this whole time, Emery has been watching helplessly as strangers and people that he knows get slaughtered on videotape. And so finally he's like, I can do something about this. Like, I can stop the cycle. I can, break the cycle. I can stop this from happening. We met a perfectly normal person. Let's try and save this normal person, as she hops on her bike and gets ready to leave. But then here come the two chuckle fucks, Howard and Eli. And I think it's a great detail that they're in the Jeep of the people that they just murdered like 3 scenes ago.
Waste not, want not.
Free Jeep. It's a great setup where they haul her off kicking and screaming, and naturally the two Emerys give chase. Steve and Rachel, like, they follow them in their car, just like you had mentioned earlier in The Wicker Man, when you find like the surprise twist ending of that. It's like, well, we needed a virgin who came here of his own accord.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, the Emerys, thinking that they're doing the right thing by saving the first normal person they've met in this place, they willingly pursue them to the dreaded second location.
Never go to a second location.
Yeah, we're a true crime podcast now. Maybe we can get some listeners that way. So yeah, they follow Eli and Howard out to the second location outside of town. They see, and even still, like, Howard's like, waving him off, like he pulled a knife on him, and he's like, this is none of your business.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is like, to a noble person, like, what better incentive is there than to be like,
God, can you imagine how huge Howard and Eli would have been on Rumble?
Oh, geez. And they have just the perfect obnoxious personalities for that.
Oh man, like r/Howard and Eli has over 15,000 members. People love Howard and Eli. They're so joyful.
Howard and Eli have written like 30,000 words in this week's newsletter alone. Like, they're blowing up.
Here's a post about how Howard and Eli are problematic. They don't respect women.
Oh no. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah. So Emery, he's a good man trying to do the right thing to like save a helpless person.
Mm-hmm.
And he and Rachel pursue them into the basement of this random house, town. There we meet the woman from before,
along with the whole
and all the other
town
and all the other townspeople, explaining their whole scheme. And that's the point where we're just like, ah, shit, we've been had.
Yep.
but it's the penultimate scene of the movie, and I like that the movie went there, and it's something that, yeah, like I said, I watched like half a dozen movies that week, and like 4 of them had this same kind of ending. I'm just like, ugh, we need to start watching new kinds of movies. But in this, I'm like, I'll give it to you. It was 1987. It wasn't played out then, and plus, like, you're a little movie that tried, so I'll allow it. I'm gonna give it to you.
Well, like
Good for you, Video Violence, for the gut punch at the end of your 89-minute movie.
Well, like I said up top, like just the fact that there is a story, albeit a simple one, and somewhat punishingly paced, but whatever.
True.
I genuinely got
in more skilled hands.
Sure, I genuinely got involved in the story of this movie. It is unlovely to look at. The production values are what you would expect. Like, you're not going to see any great actors. You're not even going to hear like great sound. Some of that synthesized music is piercing, but I really wanted to know how our main character was going to deal with this problem. And I've watched enough horror movies that I know how these usually turn out. You're not going to get the Wayne's World mega happy ending.
Right.
But the way that they did it was pretty clever. Like, everything in the story fit together and made sense, which I can't tell you how shocking that is for like so many independent movies. Like, just to have like a coherent story that fits together and resolves in a satisfactory way.
I mean, re-listen to our argument about Trick or Treat. Like, you know how hard it is to do like a twist that is satisfying?
Right.
But this movie pulled it off.
Yeah. And this...
Because all the characters acted in a way that was consistent with what we've known up until now.
Yeah. Shocking.
Right. And some other things too. Like you mentioned, like you actually got involved in the story. Like, how wild is it that at the end of this movie that was shot on a camcorder, at the end I'm like, I also feel like I empathize with Emery, and like I feel bad because like he kind of got his wife killed too.
Right.
Yeah, like this is his like quixotic fixation and be like, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this, and she'll be like, okay, well, I'm coming with you. And it's like, oh, I got tricked. Sorry, honey, you're gonna be tortured to death too.
Yeah, it's a tragedy.
Right, yeah. It's an awful feeling at the end of this movie after like this person who's been trying to like expose this murderous cult and trying to save a quote unquote innocent person. At the end of it, you're like, oh, that horrible thing that we've seen happening throughout the entire movie of people getting assaulted and tortured and murdered on camera. That thing that has been like the most awful part of this movie to watch. That's going to happen to us now.
Right.
And just like, ooh. That's like I said, it's a real gut punch, to end your movie with that, because at the end it is, the lady in the pink sweater, she's running the video store, and everyone's happy. Like, people are coming being like, oh, see what we got playing on the TV. Like, it's the video of the Emerys being killed.
I also like that the guy who played the vampire in Vampire Takes a Bride comes into the store.
Yeah.
And he has one joke that he is absolutely delighted by.
He's kind of the village idiot.
Right.
I get a feeling.
Yeah. In other words, smartest person in this entire town.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, he's got his vampire gig, and he really likes doing that.
He's found his passion.
Right. Yeah. Making just really atrocious video level movies with his unpaid friends.
And that is not a slam on Gary P. Cohen.
Right, yeah. Because really, what else do you want out of life?
Yeah, exactly. I gotta respect it. I respect this movie. It is free with ads on Tubi. If you have a tolerance for this particular subgenre of schlock, check it out.
Yeah, I mean, this really is like the best that a shot-on-video horror movie can be.
Yeah, we're keeping that bar real low.
Right, yeah. Contrast this with like Wood Chipper Massacre or something. You'd be like, oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Which is
or Cannibal Camp Out.
right. All of these things are probably free on the Internet Archive as well.
You would be a fool to pay for them.
Yeah.
Yes. Or you'd be very supportive of your niche interest. I mean, really, what you should do is you should move to bumfuck nowhere and then just find a bunch of people to trade tapes with.
The most I would pay for a movie like this is $6, adjusted for inflation.
Have I got a deal for you? Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, you can show your support by going to patreon.com/haveyouseenthis and make a pledge at the $2 or $5 tier. $5 a month gets the latest episode before everyone else, plus access to our Discord, where we're always arguing about movies. If you'd like to give us a tip, our Ko-Fi link is in the show notes. There was one emblematic line read of when Emery goes to talk to the sheriff. And he just has to do this unfortunate exposition. He says, he's wild, with his father dying and his mother having to take care of him. Anyway.